Hey, Phil.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. We're live on the Jenn.
We're live, and for some reason, my video is frozen. So I see your frozen face. I don't see anybody else.
Well, I'm looking at you just fine. You look great today.
Okay.
How are you?
So I'm very good. So you may have noticed that I'm not Jen.
Nor am I.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not Jen. So, yeah, Jen had an emergency this morning, and she asked me to fill in. Our best wishes are with her. You're stuck with me today. Sorry. And our guest is someone that, thank God, I know well, and is someone who I think we'll have a good session with today. So,
very good. I'll bring them in. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, wait a minute. Where's Jen? I didn't sign up for this.
You're baited and switched, my friend. I am yours. Gird your loins, Michael. So our guest this morning is Michael Shapot. I have known Michael for quite a long time, and as has been explained to Michael, Jen had an emergency this morning, and about 15 minutes ago asked me to fill in. And who's the guest? Thank God it's someone I know and like. I hope you like me, but I know and like you. So that is a good thing. And for an added kind of twist this morning, I can see a frozen picture of Tim. I cannot see me, you, or anything else. So it's almost like a radio thing. Maybe the gods have smiled on us, and Leah Caro's thing about a face for radio was true. Maybe that's so. But I know you're wearing your blue glasses.
And I can see you.
Okay. Well, my apologies for that. You could have been looking at Jen. Sucks for you. That's all I can say. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, and who you are, what you do, and I'll add why you're awesome.
Okay. So a little bit of background. I am a reformed, recovering, non-practicing lawyer. Don't hold it against me. I've been in the residential real estate business for ever. I'm older than dirt. These days, I run a large team of residential specialists in Manhattan. Each of us has our own niche, and I, as the business brain behind this operation, help each of my agents grow their unique businesses. There are certain aspects of the business that I love and that I do on a daily basis, and everything else I have real professionals do who love doing social media, who love doing the marketing, who love doing the eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly sales. I am more of a grow the business. I run my own little brokerage within a larger brokerage.
Which is, in many ways, the easiest way to explain what a team is. So I thought you were going a different way with the reformed thing, but that's okay. So tell me, as a recovering lawyer, what drew you to the real estate industry from this, industry practice profession that many of us, well, there's a lot of talk about attorneys. Let's just leave it at that, right? If you're an attorney, you have golden underwear, right? So why real estate?
One of my sons, when he was a teenager, used to ask me routinely, he'd say, "So Dad, were you a good lawyer? Like, why would somebody who is a lawyer choose to be a residential real estate broker?" And the fact is, I was a very good lawyer. I am a total overachiever. I work really hard at everything I do, and I'm successful at what I do. But my passion is more in being a big picture guy, in being a businessman, as opposed to the minutia and detail that's required of lawyers. I'd rather have somebody else cross my T's and dot my I's, and I'd rather put together the T's and I's and let somebody else put the finishing touches on it. So when I was practicing law, one of my major clients was third-party residential real estate company, a third-party relocation company, and I did 100+ residential sales a year on the legal end, and it was very easy for me to take my hat as a real estate lawyer and replace it with my hat as a real estate broker, and I've never looked back.
That is an awesome way of rendering it. So you found yourself, you literally found yourself in real estate. So we often joke that this is the accidental career. There's no real estate major in college, by and large. There certainly wasn't where I went to school. Where'd you go to school again? Where's your undergrad?
I went to the University of Rochester in upstate New York.
You know that I lived in Park Avenue for 5 years.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I actually started in real estate at an independent up in Rochester, in Greece, as a matter of fact. And I only moved back to New York after I met my now ex-wife. So I know Rochester quite well. So I would imagine you had a night or two at Nick Tahoe's, maybe.
Been there once or twice.
Okay, gotcha. You're a slender fellow, so you haven't been there in a while. Yeah.
Oh man, Nick Tahoe's, there, Smitty's,
and that glow about
pizza.
You comes from what Kodak put in the groundwater, and not just your charm.
Let's move right past that.
Okay, all right, I got you.
I went to law school in DC at George Washington, but I always say that I peaked in high school. I think I went to the best public high school in the country, Stuyvesant.
You went to Stuyvesant? Get out. Really?
It's been downhill ever since, in terms of being surrounded by this brain trust of socially active, politically in touch people. One of my classmates is soon to be a cabinet member. You know, it was a remarkable group of people. Anyway,
anybody that knows anything about New York City schools knows that Stuyvesant is sort of the crown jewel on all of their magnet schools, right up there with Bronx High School for Science, Brooklyn Tech, so forth. So so somebody else, I know a number of people that went to Stuyvesant, and one of them would agree. She peaked in high school, and she went to Columbia. So, wow. So, gotcha. So you found yourself in real estate, and when I met you, we were on a panel together at, I think it was a bar camp of some sort, or some sort of thing, and a lunch and learn panel. It was you were with Douglas Elliman at the time, as I recall. And I think it was you, me, and Mark Seiden. That could be. And I liked you then. I like you now. And I think we've swapped our share of referrals over the years. You're the kind of go-to New York City guy for me, and certainly know that we stayed in touch. So you peaked in high school, got it. Was Douglas Elliman your first firm? Was that your first foray into real estate at that time? How long were you in real estate 10 years ago? It's a weird question, but how long have you been in the industry?
Let's just say more than 20 years. Okay. If I told you how long, I'd really be a dinosaur, and I'd rather be more George Jetson rather than Fred Flintstone.
I'm with you.
It's always been really important to me, because my background is corporate relocation, to have a large national firm behind me. I just felt that the name recognition was important to me. My first, I worked for myself for a while. I had my own shingle. But
Really? Well, you could. You were an attorney, right? So it made sense. Right. Sure.
But I quickly realized that the nuts and bolts of operating your own brokerage, what happened when the photocopy machine broke? I mean, I didn't want those responsibilities. So I hooked up with Coldwell Banker Hunt Kennedy in Manhattan. I was with them for quite a while.
So you're the reason they're closed now because you left and now they're out of business.
Thank you. That's very flattering.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but yes.
Okay.
I went from
from
Banker for about 6 years. I spent about 6 years with Keller Williams, which is how I met Jenn. And about 3 years ago, I moved over to Compass.
So was Douglas Elliman a figment of my imagination, or was it Coldwell? You were with Coldwell when I met you.
No, I was with Coldwell. I moved to
Gotcha.
Elliman. I was at Elliman for 6 years, moved from Elliman to Keller, was with Keller for 6 years, and it's coming on 3 years at Compass.
Okay, so 3 more years with Compass, and then you'll go to another company because this is like a 6-year plan for you every 6 years. Like a senator? Like a senator.
So, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
So running the team as you do, and you've got quite a big team. How many agents would you say are on your team?
There are 8 agents. We've got 2 full-time administrators who do the back office work for us, and we've got a couple of part-time timers.
Okay. So it didn't start out that way, right? Nobody goes over to the, gets a real estate license and, okay, let's have 8 people on the team. So at what point did you hit the spot where you said, I can no longer fly solo. I need, and fill in the blank, admin, buyer agent. What was your first addition to the team?
It wasn't even a team. When I first started practicing law, I always had an assistant. I always had a secretary. I always had an administrator. And I never typed. I never did anything other than practice law. And so when I became a residential real estate broker, I wasn't going to do the office work that I could pay somebody $10 or $15 an hour to do. Gary Keller used to say, if you don't have a maid, you are a maid. If you don't have a gardener, you are a gardener. Well, if you don't have an administrator, you are an administrator. And so I always had an administrator. When I grew a little bit, I had somebody who would run around and show my listings for me, or run around with buyers and show my buyers. And so it grew. And these days, the benefits of being on a team, as far as I'm concerned, is that you can take vacation and know that you've got coverage. You can be in multiple places because you can have people help you out. You can do what you love to do and have somebody else do the other stuff better than you ever could. The idea of 1 + 1, it should equal 11.
11, absolutely.
And agents who recognize the value. Well, first of all, Phil, I don't have to tell you, this is a very lonely business, right?
In a sense, it really is. It really is.
Who understands what you're going through? If you're an individual agent and you're in the middle of a transaction, and yes, you've got a manager, yes, you've got an owner, but it's not camaraderie. Yes, it used to be, well, you gather at the coffee machine at the office. Well, we're virtual these days. There is no coffee machine. And the idea of having a team where you can commiserate, you can share ideas, you can throw ideas back and forth, that is so valuable.
So one of the points you make here, being able to do what you can do as a team leader, is why many brokers will tell you that the top of the food chain in the real estate sales industry is not being a broker owner or being the broker of a brand. It is being a team leader under a broker, because you benefit smartly from the infrastructure of the brokerage. You have a brokerage within a brokerage. As you said, you have people, and the people that are on your team, unlike your manager, unlike your broker owner, unlike your clients, does not have an agenda that has any competing interests with yours. We all want the same thing. And being able to commiserate, to have that sort of camaraderie is one of the real values of being on a team, aside from the bean counting, right? So aside from having that. So you always had an admin, very smart. You expanded to having, we can say a buyer agent, right? And over time, you built up the Michael Shapot brand. So now you have 8 people, and you get to be on fancy broadcasts like this.
Only on good days.
From Utah.
From Utah.
What brings you out there? Who's getting married? What's going on in Utah? Are you skiing?
Yes. So we've had a vacation home in Utah for 20 some odd years. Of course, we sold it pre-pandemic. So we are currently renting an Airbnb, but we're in contract to purchase something new. We love it here.
You have a place out there?
We have for 20 years, and we've been coming out forever. There's a real community. We love to ski in the winter, and in the summer it's magical. We mountain bike, we hike, we golf, we anything outdoors. It's beautiful. The weather is perfect.
I'm talking with a fellow real estate broker right now, and we're talking about vacation. How good is that? I need you to indulge me for 1 minute, because this is COVID and this is the world of working from home. So I'm going to ask my son of mine, could you get the dog inside? Thank you. So you can work from anywhere, including the end of your dining room table. And you get to be around your family and pets. And so thank you for indulging me with that. So you've got you've got your niche now. I mean, this is you are living life on your terms. From the work perspective, from the play perspective. I watch you. You say you're old as dirt, but you're not grandpa yet, to my knowledge. But you are marrying these boys off. Am I correct?
One is married. Separated currently, but yes, I'm old enough to be a grandpa. My college roommate has more than a dozen grandchildren.
Wow. Okay, so you went to our University of Rochester. So okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha. All right. Well, awesome. Your hometown is Manhattan.
Yes.
Okay. How often? I say this as someone named J. Philip Ferranda, and I'm often called Jay or Mr. Fernandez or whatever. How often are you called Shapot? How often does that happen?
My last name is unusual. It's a shortened Russian name, and nobody gets it right the first time, but it's simple. Shapot. I actually have a first cousin who's a little hoity-toity and snooty, and he pronounces his name Shapot.
Okay.
Like the French might pronounce it.
The French.
Oui, certainement.
That's all the French I know. Escardon. That is all I know. So the landscape of real estate right now, there's a lot of changes going on. Okay. We can talk about, the immutable permanent things like the best practices of running a team and everything like that. But what has been for you the biggest adjustment in the age of big tech competing with our industry? And I'll follow that up with, I guess, a COVID question, but everybody's talked about COVID to death. But what about, like, for example, Zillow's acquisition of StreetEasy, the changes that have happened with technology over the past 3 to 5 years? What's been your biggest adjustment?
That really is a very insightful question. And I don't mean to be old school or anything else other than say residential real estate is a relationships business. And yes, we need to be at the cutting edge of technology to move faster, to keep up with our clients and everything else. But ultimately, our clients need help from us as salespeople to help them make smart choices for them. We're not talking about aggregating numbers or data on a big time basis. We're talking about drilling down to the specific individual needs of a family or of a human being, or of helping somebody navigate the landmines of a residential real estate transaction. We never know when somebody is going to be blindsided, when an appraisal is going to come in low, when a co-op board is going to do something insane, when a lawyer is going to vanish.
Yeah.
And so all of these uncertainties make it so that it is the relationship and the trust and the experience cannot be replaced by high tech.
So a person in the real estate space recently asked, are we still doing the sold for over asking, just sold for over asking announcement? And, a number of people kind of riding the momentum of where the question was going was like, yeah, that's kind of passe. And I answered, yeah, I still do, because it means that you didn't just get an offer over asking, because that's easy. When the tide rises, all boats go up. It means you successfully avoided an appraisal issue. You got your client through the underwriting and the board approval process, if you're certainly in Manhattan. In our neck of the woods, we avoided any inspection issue that might have been exacerbated by a older relative freaking out because they heard the word asbestos or they heard the word radon or something like that. So yeah, I did sell it for over asking, and it closed for over asking because I didn't just sit back and get fat with market momentum. I did my job, which is what you're describing.
So tech is a tool that we use to get to the promised land, which is the closing
means to an end.
Yeah. That's right. And we need to be tech savvy. Or when you're grandpa, you need to surround yourself with young whippersnappers who can help me navigate through the complexities of technology. But ultimately, it's relationships, it's savvy, it's working with crazy personalities, giving people what they need to be successful.
So the young whippersnappers, I call that being tech savvy by proxy, vicarious tech savvy, dealing with the crazy personalities. So when we bring an agent in, and you probably say something along the similar lines, when you introduce someone to your team, the industry, or whatever, a new agent to your brand, perhaps, one of the first things we tell them is this is the largest financial event of most people's lives that occurs in one day. I mean, you can make a case that, we're saving for retirement, it's a bigger financial event. But the purchase of real estate, you're not buying a refrigerator. You're not buying something on Amazon, where you just sort of point and click. There's a point and click aspect to, I like that house, I want more information. But it is so multi-layered, so expensive, so stressful, so complicated that, yeah, it does drive even mild-mannered people to distraction, too crazy, because of, I think, the stress. And part of what we have to do, and I like this about you, is that we calm people down. We reassure them it's going to be okay. We have a way if we're good, like you, of having people see the big picture.
So two things that are triggered from what you say. Number one, when emotions run high, intelligence runs very low, right?
Yeah.
Number two, it's hard enough for an individual to make a decision. When you're talking about two people, a couple, a family that has to make a decision, people need to be on the same page. And how many times have you imagined one partner whispering into the other's ear, if you screw this up, you're never having sex with me again?
Well, I've seen it in their eyes.
So you know what I'm talking about. I mean,
I know what you're talking about.
It's not only negotiating buyer versus seller, it's negotiating the same parties to get them on the same page to make smart decisions for themselves.
Getting everybody to row in the same direction.
That's exactly right. And then when you think about, it's not only purchasing a home, it's navigating through the issues that create purchasing or selling a home in the first place. The life issues of a new relationship or a marriage or a new child,
or a job change.
A job change.
Empty nest, right? All those D's.
A divorce. The dozen D's.
Yeah.
Divorce, death. These
Diploma.
Are all triggers of home purchase or home sale, and there is anxiety and uncertainty along with those and the home sale or home purchase, and the combination is rife for there to be disaster unless somebody can be, I refer to myself all the time as the walking Valium drip, the cool, calm, collected voice of reason that gives people the data, the market knowledge to help them make smart choices. And we do that on a daily basis. And that's what a good salesperson does. Helps people step by step move along the process to get them from point A to point B.
That is the description in many respects of an advocate. That is what we do.
We're consultants. Right? We're professionals. It's of course having market knowledge, but market knowledge isn't that with the click of a keyboard. You can get market knowledge. What you don't get from the click of a keyboard is perspective as to maybe what the numbers were yesterday and where they will be tomorrow.
Exactly. So we both know Sue Adler. One of the things that I love that she says, and I got to wrap it up with this, and then we're going to find out how people can get in touch with you. One of the things that she's always said is that anybody can get the numbers. Anybody can get the data. Just, you can go to Zillow, get the data. It's fine. Who's going to interpret the data? Who's going to tell you what it means? Who's going to assist you in making a decision with the data in perspective, and so forth? So it's funny, beat my own chest. Yesterday, I shared a video I made a year ago to the day, yesterday, when COVID first hit, as to whether or not the market would change. And I predicted that the market would not crash and that it might get healthier because of various things. And it aged well, thank goodness. But you have to understand what the data means, or the data, to say that. So how does one get in touch with you? What's the best way to contact you? If somebody has a referral or a question about Manhattan real estate, how do they reach Michael Shapot?
Michael.Shapot@compass.com. Cell phone number 347-752-0251. Through you or Jen.
Yes, we can.
Google me. You'll find me.
We can do that. We can do that. Well, look, we could have gone on for longer. A half hour flew by. So I want to thank you, Mr. Shapot, for another successful broadcast for us. Jenn is in our thoughts and prayers, as I am conscripted, and you're stuck with me here. And I thank you for your time, and I wish you a safe journey back to New York from Utah.
Thank you, Phil. Great to see you again. Hope, prayers to Jenn. Thank you for the opportunity, and let's do this again.
Let's do it again soon.
Be well. Bye. Thanks.